how he shut down Jeb Bush every time the guy opened his mouth.
All they needed was a man to stand up against him and slap him upside the head.
Exactly, and I love Ron Paul. It's just he is, like you said, he's too much of a gentleman, and you really need to get him upstairs. But they want to send other people's kids to go die, and the American, you're seeing, but the silent majority is speaking right now, and Donald Trump is the key. I'm so impressed with what he's done, and the gravitas. You think about it all the time. Alex, I can't tell you how energetic I am and how happy I am.
Brother, I feel it too. I'm so alive. It's just, it's over the top. But it's also alive because I realize the enemy's going to strike back. They're going to pull a lot of rabbits out of hats. And I got to tell you, I think they're going to try to kill him. In fact, my gut says they're going to kill Donald Trump. But they have and that may be the plan to cause a revolution, because we're winning informationally. They want to start a physical revolution. I want to just say to the feds and everybody else, come on. I mean, look, the globalists are pure evil. Do not go along with whatever plans they've got. Good people in the military and the police and even the federal government, blow the whistle when you see them getting ready to pull a false flag. Let me ask you, as you said, the military's awake. What are they saying? What are you concerned, not just as a military person, but as a police officer, what do you think they may try to pull? What's your...
Go door to door for something. If you want to eat and you want to drink, you want to have running water, turn your stuff in. That's my big concern.
I agree. Economic collapse. Use that as the diversion. That's one of the main go-tos.
They can do it. They can, you have quantitative easing, stock market going up again as soon as the Davos conference.
If everything breaks down, I'm going to want troops on the streets if there's rioters everywhere, and they got Black Lives Matter ready to activate. Have you noticed they're heating that up again?
It's everywhere. I just saw the Marine that got punched in the head. I believe it was in D.C. I mean, it's, again, there is definitely an issue with the police, but by and large, the police are completely do not want to destroy this country. And again, the same people that overthrew Ukraine are the same people that are trying to overthrow the United States government. Everywhere, you just follow the rabbit hole.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. What percentage of the military you talk to understands the game plan and understands this is literally a foreign scientific takeover? If we're smart enough to see it, we can block it in its tracks. But if we don't admit it, we're done.
I would say probably 80 or 90% is awake of what's going on, but now people actually think something can be done. Everybody for a time period can't do anything.
Absolutely. God bless you, brother. Just get that word out. Write an article for us with a known to plume about it. Send it to us. The military needs to speak out. I'll tell you who bought us time and who's a hero. It was General Dempsey, Chairman Joint Chiefs. They gave the order through the military to not go after folks, to tell the truth the last 3 years. And then the non-commissioned officers began to spread the truth. It's a soft coup against the globalists and their coup. And General Dempsey, God bless him, he literally just savaged the enemy. He allowed us to get the word out.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
Let's start into all of this right now. Apple plays digital privacy hardball with the FBI, but not with China. That's out of French 24, one of the big French national TV news stations. And it goes over the fact that they give the Chinese government the codes, but not the U.S. government. Well, you see, Apple is the most advanced globalist company there is. That's why it's all Illuminati, the devil, the Apple, all that. They have suicide nets around their Foxconn subcontractor factories. They are one of the most abusive companies out there. They are proprietary. They keep their system closed, which is one reason it's not as open to viruses and other problems. It, quite frankly, works better, in my opinion, than a lot of PC-based products. Nevertheless, it's very evil. And they got Al Gore on their board, and they're all liberal and trendy and don't think the word mother and father is good to use. But at the same time, they are more than happy to lecture us all day how we should run our lives. But they're more than happy to use slave labor. So Trump comes out and says, look, we need to get into these terrorist phones. We have warrants, we have whatever. Give us the code to get in. It makes perfect sense at that level. But what the feds want, which is really the globalist banking cartel, a mixture with special interests, is the keys to the kingdom, the encryption of Apple and its entire system. They've been wanting their encryption for how they transmit data, how they compress material. They want all the different encryption systems, not just the encryption that Apple has to get into the phone. And so Apple is going to first of all, the access to the phone, which is actually not too bad. You can't even break it. And it had its passcode changed one day after San Bernardino. So they're making and to be clear, I shot a video about this last night, but didn't have one to point. They can reverse engineer everything from the ISP, the internet service provider, and the cellular provider, or both, maybe the same one. And they can get who they called, what they did, where they went, their tracks. The phone is just an interface where you go into the internet. The FBI confirmed it screwed up the reset. San Bernardino shooters iCloud password. So see, now they're out, and Tech Insider admitted. So the CEO of Apple, though he's over a very evil, globalist, anti-family, anti-gun, biggest corporation in the world, has good products compared to many. I mean, I'm not a hypocrite. I admit I use them. I admit it's a tool. It's evil. So are the drones. It's my slaves, basically. It's all that. But Apple's not the one. I would say Google does more moral stuff than its activities than Apple does. I mean, it's just a fact. And I'm not saying it's faster. I think so. The Apple CEO says when we give these codes out, that means all of your iPads, all of your Apple computers, all of your Apple phones, Apple devices can be penetrated, just like PCs. And the federal government is millions of people, and they get this data, and it leaks out immediately, it gets sold by third parties. He's not saying that. This is what he says. It'll penetrate the whole thing. Who are the feds? They're good people, they're bad people, they're contractors, they're criminals, they're mercenaries, they're scam artists. 9 times out of 10, literally, when I find out about 30 million passcodes lost or 26 million social security numbers leaked, it's always the government or a big megabank. You act like you give your money to the government. That's how the saving place. This is about terrorism. The FBI, 2 years before San Bernardino, to stand down investigating the 2 shooters. By the Justice Department, they did a, quote, criminal civil rights violation investigation of the federal agencies. There were 2 of them, the FBI and 1 other, that were investigating this mosque and these people particularly. So it would have been stopped if they did their job with the Bill of Rights, with due process. We've got smart people. We can do it with profiling. It's not racist to say if you're coming here from Saudi Arabia and you've got Facebook pages saying you want to wage a jihad, that's probable cause right there to start tapping your phones and following you. Hell, deport him. Kick his wife out of here. You don't like America? You want jihad? You're on an airplane back to Riyadh, sister. Go wear a hood over your head there if you don't like it here. Go get mutilated over there.
A clean, toxic-free body is the foundation of true health. Introducing Deep Cleanse by InfoWarsLife.com, a scientifically formulated blend of nanocolloidal zeolites and organic ingredients.
No sé.
This is a war. And the reason I get even more animated and more aggressive and more focused is that people need to be broken out of their trance and realize that this isn't a game. This is for all the marbles and the social engineers that run the planetary government don't want to just run us, don't want to just conquer us because they think they can manage things better. They are fundamentally anti-human and want to break the human cycle forever because it overthrows monopolies with innovation. They are fundamentally in competition with free will and the human spirit. Period. Those that survive in the technotronic era will live in a form of human, and from birth, he will be shuttered into a false reality and programmed. There is no language authorized but the daily download, and where you become nothing more but a biological robot, an android, a replica, a Nexus 6. 100 million homeless people and not 5 million. They're going to eat you alive. You fools thought you could rob everybody and build an anti-capitalist system and then scapegoat capitalism? And you think socialism will just pacify people when the means of production is destroyed? Holland is coming out saying, sorry, you can't work 35 hours anymore a week. Sorry, we got to cut your vacation. Sorry, we're taking your pension funds. The French that got domesticated and thought socialism was so great are now so spoiled. You are about to be completely gutted. And that's what happens once socialism goes into its final phases, that it collapses and either fascism or communism comes in, which are basically the same thing. Because with communism, they just have a fascist group that's above the law of oligarchs, and they call it communist. But really, it's just fascism using communism as a management model. And by the way, those of you that went to political science and, and read books on it, you go, that's not true, they're completely different. I've read Benito Mussolini's writings and Hitler's writings, Mein Kampf and more. I've read Das Kapital. I've read the Complete Communist Manifesto probably 10 times. And the political ideas I have coined, in my perspective, has invaded the body politic. I'm going to be interviewing some news reporter from the Netherlands, and she's quoting me about the left-right paradigm and dichotomy and how it's false and has no idea even who I am. She's repeating something I coined 20 years ago. That is success, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear people all over using your terms and you don't even make a comment. You just go, oh, really? Interesting. Thank you for that information. I don't go to some vomitarian college and have them fill me full of Jacobin propaganda and then come back and regurgitate it like I'm smart. I've read your founding father, Plato, 3 of his books. The Republic 3 times. I first read the Republic when I was 10 years old. Or tried to. And if you guys want to know where you're coming from, you need to go read it. If you want to know who the dominant philosopher is of the world, who wrote the book on the eugenicists 2,300 years later? If you want to know where Hitler got it all, if you want to know where David Rockefeller got it all, if you want to know where Zbigniew Brzezinski comes from, if you want to know where George Soros comes from, if you want to know where V.I. Lenin comes from, guess what about Plato? He didn't use terms like liberal and conservative. He didn't use terms like communist and fascist. That decision, I and mine are not going. They think they've got it all figured out. But with the return of man, with the return of people that want to actually build the community and actually want to be honorable and actually like to see success and like to be challenged and like to be defeated by someone that's better. Because we're all about the species. We're all about human empowerment. We're all about renaissance with the return of light coming back into the world. Not the false light, but the true light. With that coming back into the world, you are in deep trouble and you know it. The false prophets of this system are fraud. And they're not going to fall because they are already fell. And that's why they want to drag us along with them into their profane rabbles. And we're not going to do it. Because those of us that are awake and are tuned in, not to your false paradigm, but into the universe, into the mind of God, understand that this is nothing but a test and nothing but an animating contest. So you are defeated. Your top generals, your top captains, your top field marshals
Your top wizards know that. And they believe taking a big chunk of humanity with them into the pit, that somehow they're going to build a new reality. We've seen the realities you build with the power you've had on this earth, and you build slums and ignorance and hate and division and ugliness and poverty. Bernie Sanders is a Nosferatu. Hillary Clinton is a blood-drinking witch politically, metaphysically. These Republican leaders are a bunch of narcissistic, social-climbing twit cowards. And they hate you and your family. They think they're better than you, and they think you're stupid. Because they hate themselves. They project it onto you, and they've had some pretty good success turning us into a bunch of mutants. But I'll take the mutant population that's been under chemical and bio attack for 100 years any day over your scum.
Skulking sod.
And don't tell me that I'm a weirdo because I'm upset about this. I'm just sick of dishonorable trash. Supreme Cobra Commander! You're failures! You think I'd sell my family out like you, dirtbag? My friend's Alex Jones here with some of the most important information we've covered in a long time. It concerns thermonuclear weapons in the hands of new countries. Now, you can search engine the term Alex Jones, Iran has nukes, or Alex Jones, Saudi Arabia has nukes, and you will find video and audio and text reports going back more than a decade. Well, let me give you the news flash. I've been told by very trusted sources that turn out to be on target every time that Iran has nukes, so does Saudi Arabia, for 10 stinking years. We interview a lot of top generals, a lot of top colonels, not just from the U.S. military, but also foreign militaries, like the late Hamid Gul, former head of Pakistani intelligence, who ran the war against the Soviets with the CIA. He would come on my show, basically only my show. He died last year. And they basically all concurred and agreed that Pakistan had sold nuclear weapons along with Russia selling them components in the last decade. That's Iran, and that is Saudi Arabia as well, two arch enemies, Sunni and Shiite arch enemies. And you see this whole Sunni Shiite civil war raging across the Middle East, North Africa, and Central and West Africa right now, and East Africa, basically most of the time. Now, I first learned this from generals, and then I was talking to a cousin who was in special operations at the time. I guess he was about 55 years at the time. He retired with 35 years last year. And we're sitting around the campfire deer hunting, at deer hunting camp, and I said, I've been interviewing a lot of top people, and they say Iran's got nukes and Saudi Arabia's got nukes. And he looked at me and he said, wow, I listened to your show more. He goes, but that's what we were briefed on just this year, is they've got them from Pakistan. And then Iran's got, I think, at the time, 4 devices was the briefing, and Saudi Arabia's got even more. And the new intel was that Israel was going to give them delivery systems, and that's all I was told. So I went on air, and I said, listen, I've talked to military on and off record, I've talked to family, you name it. This whole thing about Iran and everything is a red herring, because they've already got nuclear weapons. They're just trying to get delivery systems. The same thing with Saudi Arabia, one of the biggest militaries in the world. And that they have the two weapons to counter each other, just like the West helped Pakistan and India get nuclear weapons to then counter each other, and also to counter China. So it's all part of this balkanization technique that they engage in. But now it's in major Saudi Arabian TV, RT, you name it. Kurt Nimmer wrote an article about it. They've got these top Saudi spokesmen going on television. Saudis claim to have nuclear bomb. Pakistan has agreed to deliver nuclear weapons to Riyadh. Agreed a decade ago. So what's happening is you're just getting told about them now because they're thinking about using them. And what they said on Saudi Arabian TV and on RT, and we'll put these articles up on screen, is don't try to stop our ground troops' invasion of Syria right through Iraq, or we'll use nuclear weapons on you, Bashir Assad. This is with Russians there with high-tech anti-aircraft missiles that can shoot planes down 200 miles away in a matter of minutes. I mean, supersonic Mach 5, Mach 6, Mach 7. Those big 400 missiles. And we'll put those on screen as well. So this is just an insane escalation that they would pull the ace card out and say, we have nuclear weapons. So we now have the radical jihad state with the whacked out royal family that were just 100 years ago Bedouin caravan robbers, literal slavers and sex slaves of women. That's why they still do it today. I mean, that's what they've been doing for 1,000 years. The Bedouins have been robbing caravans, really before they were even Muslims. And that's where Muhammad came from at Mecca and Medina. I mean, if you go back and research, he robbed caravans. It's a group of bandits. They keep women as slaves and property. It's insane. And they've got nuclear weapons, and they're threatening to use them against the Russians right now. So, bravo to Obama, bravo to the CIA, bravo to the globalists, bravo to George Soros. I mean, you people are crazy. You've overthrown Ukraine. You're starting a war with Russia. Russia's threatening nuclear war in Europe. You've got the Saudis with nuclear weapons rolling in a proxy war with Saudi Arabia. And you can go back. One of the first things that comes up on Google is March 28, 2015, Saudi eyes nukes to counter plan. And that was even in the news by then. I'm just on record a decade ago saying specifically for Pakistan, and it was given to both countries. And then the Russians gave know-how to the Iranians. So this situation is spiraling out of control, and the Saudi Arabians are playing God in a big, big way. And you've got to pick bad guys in all this. And I'm certainly not supporting, the mullahs in Iran. And you got to pick bad guys in Saudi Arabia. They run 79% of the Muslims in the world, Sunni Wahhabists. They're the ones starting all the attacks. That's where the hijackers came from on 9/11. But we attacked secular Saddam, who was a former CIA asset, who followed orders to attack Iran. Our government is run by criminals that go after the better states. I'm not defending Egypt 4 years ago and Hosni Mubarak, who was there for 30 plus years. But he was our guy. The people have freedom. Christians and Jews and minority Muslims can live in peace. The country was prosperous. It's now a hellhole. They're losing their tourism. It's falling apart. Our government helped put radical Muslims in. And they're doing the same thing everywhere. Libya, the list goes on and on. It is crazy. And so that doomsday clock moves closer to midnight. In my view, tell me what you think in the comments below. We're also going to try to post this to Facebook, Infowars.com, PrisonFly.com. I'm up here on Saturday night. I'll be up here until midnight if need be with the team. Oh, yeah. Right now, Rob New's shooting camera, handheld. He had a party to go to with his family. He's up here. I don't make him come up here. He wants to come up here. Bob Jacobson's out there. Because we live this, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot articulate to you strongly enough how much danger this world's in. There's major political realignments happening. There's major moves happening, major financial moves, military moves. Now is the time to be paying attention, and now is the time to put the pressure on the politicians not to start World War III. To the credit of our military, the Pentagon, the Army, particularly, and General Dempsey, before he left, the chairman, they have been telling the globalists and the Anglo-American establishment, don't start World War III. Do not back Saudi Arabia and Al-Qaeda. This is too dangerous. But the Saudis are out of control right now, ladies and gentlemen, and they're threatening the Russians with nukes on TV, basically. So, let me ask you, is that unprecedented? We hear all day, do anything to keep the Middle East from getting nukes. And the Middle East has had nukes, and now they're threatening to use them. But our borders are wide open. Homeland Security has got to worry about going after the Bundys over land rights garbage. Because this system is anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-Renaissance, anti-Western culture. because it threatens the immoral corruption of the globalists who are busy battling all these factions. And in closing, I'm going to shoot another video today if I have time. Regardless, I will cover it tomorrow on the radio, 4 to 6 p.m. with the live Sunday show. I'm going to break down the real power structure of the world in detail. But here's what it comes down to politically. The Anglo-American establishment controls about 70% of the world. It's the technocracy. It's the most evil. It's the most powerful. It's the most sophisticated. Okay? And it's the U.S., Canada, Western Europe, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Japan to a certain extent. The echelon countries, as I call them. It's the most advanced breakaway civilization. Then you got the Russians. Then you got the Chinese. Then you've got the Sunnis run by Saudi Arabia. This is political. Well, they call it religious. It's a political movement of domination and control. The Sunnis. Then you've got the Shiites, Iran, 20% or 19% of the Muslims. Those political movements. Then, as, quote, religious political movements, you've got Catholics, you've got the Orthodox Church, and within that, you've got competing intelligence agencies and systems and different AI companies like Apple and like Google, and they're all competing for control. And these are the major players. And they all overlap. They all have spies within each other, but they're all wanting this huge world government and this huge supercomputer life extension system. This Manhattan Project squared to build the immortality system and to build a breakaway civilization that can survive if the planet's destroyed. And they believe they're going to become God on the other side of this. This is their childhood's end. Again, I'm not saying the globalists and the Anglo-Americans are some off-world entity or even the devil. I'm saying in an archetype they might as well be, because they've decided all of this is old, all of this is ending, and they're going to design a new world. Look all around you. That's why the elite don't seem to care. And they're galloping like the four horsemen of the apocalypse forward into Armageddon to have global domination and to make sure no country, no nation, no religion, no group can block them from their mass social engineering plans they have to force us not into free will, but into this forced hive mind AI computer collective, the Evermind. I've studied it. That's the elite's real plan. I told you this 15 years ago when I really started getting informed. Now the elite are rolling out their true plan and are admitting a lot of this. The Pope's calling for world government. They all want the Ring of Mordor. They all want the world government. They all want the AI future predicting systems. They all want the life extension. None of them will stop the rise of this total power because they're all jockeying and giving their power to it, hoping they become the one that wields it. The truth is, none of them are going to wield it. The Antichrist will wield it. Whether you believe in God or the devil or not, doesn't matter. Humans manifest what they imagine. Just as Genesis says, we're built in the image of the Master Creator. It's real. Whether it was real in the cosmology or not, we've made it real. And the entity that will come into control of all these systems means to become a god artificially, because the devil's not a god, through what God's creations made in his image built. That's as high as the devil can get, stealing what we build him. Now, you've been given the deepest esoteric knowledge there is. I will break more of it down tomorrow on 6 p.m. Central. Alex Jones signing off from Infowars.com. And it's that type of behavior that spurred me to do the research to develop a true nutraceutical formula that was being handled daily by globalist concoctions. It's no The Joint Chiefs of Staff last year, this year as well, have come out, you can pull up their statements, and warned that the world is in the most dangerous geopolitical season that they've ever seen.
The British Ministry of Defense in 2007, as well as the Pentagon, put out detailed reports that basically mirrored each other, predicting that the world would enter global crisis by 2016 into 2022 because of demographic cliffs and other major issues. If you want to pull up those reports, just type in flash mobs, brain chips, a grim future. You'll get the London Guardian that leaks and links to the British Ministry of Defense report, and then you can also in the same article find the U.S. report. That's another reason when you tune in, you notice what we cover and warn about just keeps happening. The social engineers, the big think tanks know full well what's going on. They just don't normally put it in the newspaper. But more and more, the establishment media doesn't want to be obsolete or passé.
Has venido a desafiarme.
So
No es
they are
justo
admitting
atacar a alguien por la espalda. Eso es de cobardes.
We had scientists
No he venido a
on 16,
desafiarle.
17
He
years
venido a
ago that
acompañarlo hasta la
microwave
policía.
radiation from cell phones
¿Para qué? Solo
severs
quiero
the tails
pasármelo
basically
bien.
off of sperm.
No hay nada como
It vibrates
provocar
them
a un
off.
puñado de
It's like take a
borrachos.
snake and
Es un
start
juego
shaking,
inocente.
tail crack off.
Hay varias
Anybody's
víctimas en el
ever tried to catch a
hospital.
snake, notice
Eso
what kind of
también es
tail
un
snaps
juego
off for a
inocente.
lizard. Same deal with these cells. You just hit it with like an ultrasound basically is what radiation does. That wavelength and it wraps them apart. That's been known forever. Oh, it's mainstream news today. Oh my gosh. Don't keep your cell phone in your pocket.
¡Lo tengo aquí!
No, I'm not using it in my pocket. It's sending messages back and forth. It's on all the time. Oh, the New York Times admits scientists ponder the prospect of contagious cancer. They've known that cancer was